Hello YouTube, how you doing? Eddie Bones 13 back with another knife review slash overview. I've actually been carrying this knife for about 3 days now. Haven't had to use it on many things except for maybe some paper, plastic, envelope, stuff like that. But I got to tell you, this knife is fantastic, you guys. I've been waiting for this knife to come in. You guys may remember this knife. It may look familiar from the handle from the titanium version of this knife that Kizer did. Let me go ahead and give you the name. The name of this knife is the Kizer Vanguard Series Dorado Flipper. Now, Kizer did one of these with a full titanium frame lock with a back spacer, I believe, model that you could pick up at Blade HQ or Knife Center or so on. Phenomenal knife. So I actually bought the Kizer Ray Laconico Intrepid. It was my first introduction with Kizer, and it was absolutely a fantastic knife, you guys. It's still one of my favorites. Some of the anodizing on the backspacer and stuff has kind of scratched off and kind of wears a little bit, but you know, as far as the knife goes, it's phenomenal. It's got great action. And this knife is no exception. It is a wonderful, wonderful addition to my collection. And I got to tell you, the price for this knife, you guys will just flip. $88. And when you see all this knife has to offer for $88, there's Kershaw CRKTs, Gerbers out there that don't even stack up to this knife. They cost that much or more. And I'm willing to put this knife up against any of those companies' knives. And yeah, it's from China, but you know what? That doesn't bother me. You got companies like Riyadh out of China. You got Custom Knife Factory from Russia. I mean, these overseas companies are just tearing it up. And you know, I'm along with a lot of the other Americans here in the United States to say, you know, let's keep our money here. But at the same time, when it comes to practical utility knives like this and stuff that's just kind of get used and abused and is very nice looking at the same time, why not? You know, it doesn't bother me to send my money overseas. It really doesn't. As long as they keep producing quality like this, then I will stick with this kind of stuff. So what we have here is, like I said, it is the Kizer Vanguard, new Vanguard series Dorado. And the big difference you're going to see is instead of titanium, you have these G-10 handles. And let me get a little close up here. They are gorgeous. You know, they're smooth. They look kind of like they have texture, but they're not. They're really smooth, which is fine. The ergonomics, as you can see, are quite phenomenal for this knife. So the way this knife holds in the hand, it's very ergonomical. It's very sexy shape all the way around. Absolutely in love with this. So you got the G10 blue and black, which the blue and black is gorgeous. Complements this knife. The silver stainless steel, just with this blue and black, it just complements it great. So really love this knife, and I'll do a good close-up of these scales here. I got a new camera, folks, so for you that have been watching my channel before, know that my camera was horrible, and it's kind of a bummer to even watch, but this new camera should help change some of that. My lighting is the next thing I need to improve, but nice pocket clip, just a normal spring style clip, but I got to tell you, it's very functional, works very good in and out of the pocket. It's got this little lip here if you choose to grab it by that, although you don't need that because it's not a deep carry, which you can see how much pant this will actually fit in here. So this will go over any kind of material you need, but it does give you some purchase to actually pull this knife from the pocket, which is really nice. I like deep carry, but this one sits just, you know, far enough out to grab it, but not enough to really show. Not that it matters. People know you're carrying a knife anyway. I don't carry them to conceal them. I carry them to use them. So you're looking at a closed length. Let's see, I have my notes here and I want to give you the right things here. So the handle length is 4.8 inches. So you're almost at 5 inches. A little shy, but it's wonderful. I wear an extra large glove and it fits my hand great. So I absolutely love it. Let's go ahead and get this blade open. You'll get to hear and see the action on this knife. Just like that, folks. So I can't say enough how much I love this knife. The blade shape is just beautiful. You have a blade length of 3.5 inches. They give you this nice little sharpening kind of choil here. You can sort of get a finger in there. I wear, like I said, I have bigger fingers, so you got to be aware that this point will cut you, but you can kind of get up in there if you have smaller fingers and use it as a to choke up on it with. There is no jimping on this knife. Let me go ahead and show you here that it is a matte Cucchiara design. as with all the Dorado flippers. And he does customs. I've seen him on some channels that look beautiful. I wish I could actually have a chance to get one, but I just don't have the funds right now. But so there's the Kizer logo. This is VG10 steel, which, you know, to me is great. I still think it's up there in that super steel category. The original titanium versions of this knife were S35VN. We all know how great that steel is, but VG10 is no slouch. So let's get a couple close-ups of this blade here. Nice satin on there. It does gather fingerprints fairly easy, so you have to keep it wiped down. But again, I bought this to be used, so I'm not really worried about that. Get some nice close-ups with this handle again. So it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous knife, you guys. Nice pocket clip. It's got a little domed pivot there, which is nice. You know, simplicity at its best. You got your torque screw there. Again, it's like set in a dome, so it's really nice. And again, there's just a look at that gorgeous blade. I love the overall design of this blade. It's very functional. I would say that, you know, it doesn't really matter. My phone was ringing there in the background, you guys. I'm sure you heard that. It's very functional. It's got this recurve here for cutting rope and kind of getting in deeper in your cuts. It's got the belly here, and then it kind of this upswept design here. I guess you'd call this sort of a modified drop point. I'm not really sure. Nice swedge up here, if you can get a close-up of that there. The blade is still fairly thick. You're looking at 0.13 inches, so it's not the most thick I've ever seen, but it's also not the thinnest. And it doesn't really taper out to a thin point. It does get thinner, but it's still fairly thin at the tip, so you're going to have a lot of good uses for this knife. And this knife came razor sharp, you guys, razor sharp. Hair cutting, paper slicing sharp. I mean, you just can't ask for better. So you're looking at an overall length, sorry, my knife's sliding here. You're looking at an overall length of 8.3 inches on this. Your cutting edge is actually only 3.25 inches because of this sharpening little swedge here, or troil, which is just fine. This is a perfect size knife to use as an EDC. I love it. Let me give you a shot of this in the hand. You can kind of see I do wear an extra large glove, and how much is still left out here, which is perfect. Gives you good control. Every finger has a spot. 2 fingers are going to rest back here. Your middle finger right here, and then your first finger goes just perfectly right in there. And you can actually get a really nice grip on this. Let me see if I can back out a little. There we go. Kind of see that it gets a really good grip. You have this little ramp here for your thumb. Even though there's no jimping, it just rests really nice in there. You can switch over to the reverse grip, and you have your thumb will rest perfectly up top here. Every finger is comfortable. It's a really solid grip, even though the G-10 is a little more slick. You can see the flipper comes down as a finger guard, just enough to lock you in on this knife. So very good EDC. I would recommend this for that. Let me go over a few more specs, and I'll give you my overall impression of this knife. Like I told you, blade material is VG10. I guess they call this a clip point. I apologize. So not a drop point, a clip point. It's a satin finish. And you're looking at 4.8 ounces, which is great, you guys. For a knife this big with a handle this long, it actually just, it feels just right, you know. I was carrying my 0562 zero tolerance. That's about 5.4 ounces, and it's a little heavier, but this does give you that lightness that people like. It's thin. I don't know if I have a measurement on the handle thickness. Yeah, it's a 0.50, so you're looking at a 1/2 inch there on the thickness, which is perfect. It rides really well in the pocket. And for the size, the weight to size ratio is just phenomenal. You know, 4.8 ounces is nothing. It's still very lightweight, but yet very beefy, and it feels great. You have stainless steel liners. I don't know if you can see in there. They are skeletonized, as you can see right inside of there. They cut some circles in there. Lockup is great. Let's see if I can get closer on this and have some light actually on it. So you can see that the lockup is early, but still solid enough to rest completely on the knife there. So lockup is solid, and I got to tell you that there's no side to side, no up and down. The lockup is great. So let's go ahead and show you the centering on this knife, which is something that surprised me. It's perfectly centered. You couldn't ask for better. Look at that. Some people would say maybe the tip leans to the left a little, and maybe that's true. In person, you can't really tell. It's just coming off this way on the camera, but look at that centering. It is just completely centered all the way through. Not really too tight of tolerances in there. I mean, the blade is a little thinner than the handle, but it just sits perfect in there. And they've actually used every bit of the handle to put this blade in here. So, I mean, the tip comes right out. Not far enough. You'll never catch your finger on that or nothing, but you can see they've used every bit. It is an open pillar construction. You have 2 standoffs in the back that are really nice. Nice silver stainless standoffs. Nice open construction for cleaning. Again, there's the pockets that are milled out in there to give make this knife lighter. Flipper tab. Great. It's got a little jimping. Because of the rounded nature of this flipper, you got to be careful. You got to really grab it before you flip. You can have a tendency to roll off that, but I really like this. Just be aware when you're flipping it. This does add a little, it's really subtle, but it does add a little grip to there. But just be aware because, you know, you don't want it to roll off, but at the same time, when you push button it, it's so fast and powerful. Light switching it as well. Just perfect. I kind of do a mix of both. I kind of do a push button and a pull down, and it just launches it. And let's take a second and let me just back this up a little, and let's look at this action. It is so fast, and the knife is smooth. It will fall. Let gravity just let it fall. See there? Give it a couple shakes, and I'm still breaking this in, guys. So you got to imagine like how much smoother this is going to get. I haven't oiled it. I haven't done nothing like that. So look at this, and let's look at this detent. Listen, see if we can hear this. Hold on. Bam. It just sucks it right in. And there goes my phone again. Nothing better than getting calls during your shooting time, you know? That's alright. I'm not really an important person, but I guess now you can consider me one. But let's listen to this. Let's listen to this opening. You hear that? I mean, the ka-chunk. I mean, that's just opening with power. It does have an internal stop pin, so you're not going to see any stop pin in here. It stops it closed and open. So in the open position, you notice it's just all blade in there. Blade stock, there's no stop pin. It is all on the inside. I have taken this knife apart already. It comes apart quite easily and goes back together very easily as well. It is riding on ball bearings. It does have ceramic detent as well. So for $88, all the stuff you're getting is it's a great value. I can't believe that this knife is only $88. With this kind of action, and this kind of performance out of a knife, it is absolutely great. VG10 steel. I love this knife. So I believe we've pretty much went over all the specs of this knife. Did I tell you that the overall length is 8.3? I may have. I'll go ahead and throw that in there again. So basically my overall impression of this knife, if I haven't been telling you this whole thing, is it's wonderful. I highly suggest you get out and get one. If I were to rate this between a 0 and a 5, I'd give it a 5 all day. And I would actually rate this up with some of the better knives out there, in this price point and higher. I would actually put this up there with my 0562, although my 0562 is a little more sturdy, obviously more money, titanium with carbon fiber and stuff. Yeah, you know, you're getting all the bells and whistles, but this knife, if it had those, would be right up there with it. The action is among no other. Very smooth. I love the blade shape, the centering. You can't ask for more. The action, again, I just keep flipping this over and over, and I'm trying to get it broke in, but it came smooth out of the box, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's do a couple comparisons real quick. Let's see if we can't bring in the, we'll go ahead and bring in that 0562 that I've been talking about, and let's compare those two together. So if you put them pivot to pivot, you'll notice that the handle on the Vanguard series Dorado is longer, which is nice for me. This one's very nice as well, very ergonomical. Something more ergonomical about this handle, I gotta tell you, it's a little more comfortable. The blade, you can tell, is longer on the 0562. You can't really tell in this view. Let's see if I can tip them up and kind of show you. Yeah, right there you can tell. Pivot to pivot, the blade is longer. I believe the ZT is a 3.6 inch blade. So you're getting more handle, less blade. but very, very EDC friendly, also less weight. Okay, you're looking at like 5.4. This is about 4.8. So let's go ahead and take this one on out of here, and we will compare it to the other Kizer that I own. And this is the other, this is the all titanium anodized version of the Ray Laconico Intrepid. Again, you know, very nice. You get the titanium, the S35 steel, but with this one you do get longer blade on the top one here, the titanium Intrepid, at about 3.6. And sorry for bumping the camera there also, folks, but and again 3.5 on this one. But the handle length is what you really see a big difference in. You just get a lot more to hold on to with this Vanguard series, as well as on most of these they came with the backspacer, all titanium. And don't get me wrong, this is still one of my all-time favorite knives right here. As you can tell, I've used it and beat it up. There's just marks. The blade still looks quite good, but you know, it's really nice. But this one here, still for the money, you just cannot go wrong. I don't think there's any knife out there, and I'm willing to bet that to anybody, there's no $88 knife or $80 to $90 knife out there that could stack up to this one right here, and I'm willing to put money on that. Here's the Spyderco Domino. Not really, obviously one's going to be way bigger, but I just kind of want to show you the size difference here. So if you're used to the Domino, you'll kind of see where we're at here. If you put them back to back here, you can see quite a big difference for the Dorado here. So it's just another little comparison there. So folks, I gotta tell you, I absolutely love this knife. Let me do a couple more close-ups here. Forgive me for these fingerprints. It does show fingerprints, but you know, again, this isn't a show knife. This is going to be a user for me. Let's get really up close on here and get some macro type shots on here. So also, these are a numbered limited edition of a thousand. Actually, these ones are not. Actually, forgive me for saying that. I was thinking of another knife, so you can go ahead and scratch that out. If I knew how to edit, I would edit that out, but I don't. So these are available right now at Blade HQ, and I'm sure they'll be available at Knife Center soon, and other places as well, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. So I'm just kind of giving you an overall look at this knife. Kind of bring it in slow, let you get some macros. Nice pocket clip there, milled out pockets on the inside. Beautiful G-10. I love the G-10 on this knife. Right there it does say Dorado. Again, just a beautiful blade shape. Absolutely in love with this knife. So again, folks, I strongly urge you to get out and get you the new Dorado Vanguard series from Kizer. You won't be disappointed. I think the action speaks for itself, the smoothness, the sound of that opening, and the power that comes along with it. So again, folks, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. My videos are only getting better now that I got this new camera. I'm working on the lighting, but we'll get better. So YouTube, until next time, stay sharp. Eddie Bones 13 out.